Welcome to Hammered with Cars with Troll Patrol Racing.
Sponsored by JRT.
I'm TJ.
And I'm Tyler.
So obviously this is the first episode in a long time since...
Been a minute.
What, like April or May?
Yeah.
Maybe June we did one. I can't remember exactly the last time we did one,
either.
but it was a long time. Done some Hammered with Cars shorts, as I've been calling them, just to keep uploading something and keep you guys a little updated. So obviously this season I blew up the 300ZX again. And parted it out, which went pretty well.
Wildly successfully.
Yep. And then I bought a Polo Green C4 Corvette in 1993. So it's got the LT1 Beast motor. And it has air conditioning, which is really nice. And then just raced that for last 4 events or something like that I was able to make.
Which is 3 more than I raced this year.
Yep.
It's been a total blowout season for me.
Boo!
Indeed. No, it was a very, very busy summer for me. I made it to Road America a lot of times, not to race, but to spectate because I had that season pass.
Yep.
So that was a lot of fun. But I did get to race at Road America on the kart track in Kyle Nett's 3
Oh, that's right.
events.
That's right.
So,
Yeah, that was a interesting
my
day.
one event for the season.
Yeah, that's a bit of a bummer.
Yeah, but me and Kimberly have mutually agreed that we're gonna slow her down a bit for next summer, so that we can
do stuff
that we want to do close to home instead of being gone all the time. So
right.
Even into the fall here, this is the first mostly free weekend that we've had in like 8 weeks.
Yeah.
It's just always something's going on.
Yeah, so it's been crazy busy, but we're headed into winter. Or winter is here.
It's Balkan season.
Balkan season.
Yeah, you're buying all the parts right now so that you can put them all in.
I thought you
and
meant
get
like getting fat.
Yes.
Building season.
Balkan season.
Balkan season.
You get the reference. You buy the parts now, and then you get shredded in the spring.
Yep.
You put all the
There you
parts
go.
on, and then it's time to rip.
There you go. That's a good way to look at it. So, yeah, I guess going down that, you guys might have seen the short where I had the C4 Corvette out at a dyno, just a baseline dyno. Place was pretty close to me, so it worked out well. Even though it was November, I was a little worried it was going to be
snowy and gross and salty roads.
They called me. I think it was maybe even as early as August. I had set it up, or late August, and they're like, yeah, let's. I'll have to call you back and see when we've got time. And he's like, I got a spot open November 10th. Do you want it? And I was like, either I take it and I got it and I go to it, or I end up canceling it because there's snow on the ground. But I was like, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Which I actually ended up finding out. There's a guy near me in Elkhorn that I've been helping out a little bit that has a 300ZX.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a tuning day scheduled for that day, and then he blew up his car.
Oh no!
Trying to tune it himself, and so I'm pretty sure the reason that day opened up is because he blew his car up. So,
did you give him some free 300 parts?
I think I have. I know I helped him work on it a little bit.
Yeah.
And
You got to pay him for that.
Charged him a couple beers.
That dyno day.
Yeah, exactly. So, got a baseline dyno, and the best that the car did was 268 wheel horsepower with 293 foot-pounds of torque. And it actually did that somewhere between 215 and 230 degrees coolant temp.
Oh.
So it was running pretty warm.
Probably got another 5
but
on the table.
I don't know.
Run it at like a 160.
Well, he did his, like the first runs, the first 2 runs he did at a cooler temperature. Is that last one that was high. And I know
Oh,
those
sure.
engines like to run high. I also don't know how much the fact that it's a reverse flow affects the temperature reading
Gotcha.
compared to a regular car. I do know there's, I don't want to say fairly well documented evidence, but it's a community standard that getting a thermostat and getting some kind of tune will yield quite a bit of power out of those.
Sure.
So I don't have any plans for a thermostat. That's a little bit bigger job than I really want to.
Is it really that difficult?
The whole front end of the LT one kind of scares me, which is probably not a good reason.
Oh, you're afraid of taking the thermostat housing off because you don't want to dribble coolant on your OptiSpark.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things I'd just do it all at once if I was
Yeah.
going to do it and be done with it.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Um,
I can tell you with my Corvette, it also pretty regularly at autocross ran around like 215 to 220, and that made me nervous, even though that's not exceptionally high.
right,
But it made me uncomfortable. I didn't like it.
right.
On a real hot day,
And
I would
I've-
creep up to that 220 mark. And
I
didn't-
never had that at an autocross. I had like maybe 210, 212
Yeah,
pop up. But I'd come off the track, and one of the things I do is I turn the AC on, because when you turn the AC on, it turns the electric fans on,
Sure.
regardless of the temp.
yep.
And which I did notice the other day, my fans turn on at 190.
Sure.
So I turned the fans on, but the other thing that the dyno guys noticed was how even though it got up to like 230, and then as soon as he let off the gas, it started dropping right away.
Oh.
And it's because it has that larger radiator.
Sure.
So I'm not too worried about what it did. I think the reason it got so hot is partially because you had a fan blowing on it basically.
Right.
And the Corvette,
Doesn't have a huge.
well, it's designed to be aerodynamic and funnel air through the radiator when it's
Right.
driving. It's not really meant to sit there, and so I think that had more to
Yeah,
do
it
with
doesn't have a
it.
huge grill opening where you can
No.
just blow a bunch of air through it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So,
Yeah. But you remember when I was having problems with when the car would run real hot like that,
Yep.
the oil pressure was
Yep.
getting really low.
but yours is still a standard small block Chevy
It is,
as far as flow orientation.
but naturally, if your engine is running hotter, there's more heat there to transfer into your oil. So unless you have a really good oil
Right.
cooler set up, it can be hard on
And
the oil
your
temps too.
your engine does have a thermostat in it.
Yeah.
Okay, I just because
No, it had the factory 190 in it,
okay,
and
because
I switched it out for a 160.
Dan had a similar issue with his Camaro,
Yeah.
and he ended up not having a thermostat in there at all,
Oh yeah.
and it just was cycling too fast to the point
Either
where it
that
wouldn't even go through
or-
the radiator.
Either that, or it can actually be a problem where without a restriction, it can't create pressure, and it can't
Okay,
create
and maybe-
pressure differential
and maybe-
amongst the system.
maybe
to
that-
circulate at all.
Yeah, maybe that's more of what it was than anything, because
Yeah.
he ended up putting like a 170 or something like that in there, and
Yeah.
hasn't had issues since.
Sure. Yeah.
But anyways, so 268 wheel horsepower and 293 foot-pounds of torque.
Just
And
barely didn't have to sell it.
yes, not barely. Well, basically it was like, is it within the like estimated percentage of loss that you would expect? If it wasn't,
Yeah.
then it was going to be hard to keep, because it
Sure.
would have been like something's going to happen eventually.
Right.
But thankfully it didn't come to that. And so now on the list of already what's ordered is a set of American Racing full-length headers, full equal-length headers.
Yep.
And that has the headers as well as plugs for the emissions, cats, and an X pipe. So it goes pretty far back into the exhausts. And those run somewhere around $2,000, which sounds expensive until you start looking at catbacks and catback exhausts. There's only a couple that are like $1,200, $1,500 that are actual stainless steel, and that's
Yeah.
the other thing too. These headers are stainless steel. but everything else is like $2,000. So if you're thinking about, okay, what's really best to spend money on, yeah, a catback will help with sound and it'll help with flow, but not to the degree
Right.
some full-length headers will,
Yep.
especially when you want to look at scavenging effects. I
Right.
mean, that's where I think that's
And
going to
an
be the
X
biggest
pipe as well.
advantage. Yep. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's what I got planned for power mods. The
Are you
idea.
doing anything like? Does that hook into the factory mufflers then, or do you have to figure something out?
I'll have to
from
figure
behind the X
I'll
pipe?
have to figure something out. I think it like the X pipe doesn't go so far back that it goes back enough that it'd be like, okay, we're going to cut the exhaust here and couple them together, which is probably what I'm going to do at the start,
Sure.
just to see, because I don't want the car to be ungodly loud by
Right.
any means. I just don't know if the stock mufflers are going to be too restrictive or not.
And the setup that you bought has high flow cats or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. So, and if you're wondering why I'm keeping the emissions in cats, it's because it's required
Class rules.
for class rules and some of the, essentially for SCCA STU, which is what I'm kind of building the car to try and keep budget down. Which ironically, it's more expensive to get it with cats. So I guess, but overall mods, it helps keep the price down. It doesn't allow you to do anything super crazy. So the plan is,
It
that's,
doesn't help keep the price down. It just limits what you can do. You'll still spend the same amount
Yeah,
of money.
that's-
You'll just spend it on
that's
less
probably
things.
true. Yeah, that's probably true. I'll buy more expensive stuff like those
Which actually isn't-
$8,000 coilovers.
Yeah, those are out of control. I've never even heard of that brand before.
Neither have I, but
Yeah.
I thought, man, they must be asking a pretty penny for a reason because, geez Louise.
Yeah. I mean, they were remote reservoir.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, I didn't read too far into them, but I'm sure they were three-way adjustable.
Yeah, they were. I think that the thing that interests me the most about them, and I don't know if that's a stock photo, it kind of looked like it was a stock photo, but it looked like they had travel, a lot of travel. And that's probably the biggest complaint that I've seen with coilover kits, especially in the rear, is that they end up shortening up that shock so much, it ends up killing any kind of ride quality.
Oh.
So,
Not that any Corvette, C4s especially, don't ride particularly
yeah,
great
I
anyways.
know. Yeah, that's
So, like, what if you wanted to ride really nice, you should have bought a Cadillac.
right. Right. No, it is not. It's not the most. I mean, the road's not flat. You're gonna hear the interior rattle.
Yeah. I haven't rode in yours yet. Does the interior rattle really bad in yours?
It rattles a fair amount. It
Oh.
wasn't until '94 that GM went back and put in like foam padding in a bunch of areas and figured out where all the rattling was
Yeah.
happening and kind of fixed that.
Wow.
So it rattles a little bit, but
Mine's older
yeah,
and more ratty. And it's been heat baked so many times in its life because it's old.
yeah,
Some of the plastic is cracked and some of the screws don't hold tight anymore
Right.
and stuff like that. Me and Kimberly went on a date one time and there was something that happened like before we left. I was just like in a mood. And we started going down Main Street before it was redone, and everything was just like, and I was like, we got to get off this street stat or I'm going to go home. It was driving
Bad.
me up a wall.
Yeah.
It was real bad.
No, I mean it's not terrible, but it's, I don't know, it's a '90s interior. I don't like
Yeah.
mine's not like cracked. There's a few cracks in some of the plastic pieces, but that's mainly in the side like trim and stuff,
Sure.
and that's not really what's rattling. You can tell the rattling is
Yeah.
the dashboard somewhere.
On the other hand, some of that kind of stuff is what I appreciate about it because it gives it that old car feel, like classic car feel. There's certain things about the C4 that I like. Like there's certain things that are more modern about it, like it's not vintage era.
Yeah,
But then there are certain other things that are like vintage era.
yeah, okay, I see what you kind of mean.
And like if it was, I don't think it would hit all the same spots for me if it was like a C5 or a C6.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the old school vintagey parts that it does have.
Right.
Yeah.
So the headers are the big power mod. Big power mod. It's really the only power mod I've planned at this time. I thought about doing the cold air intake, but everything that I've seen is that it offers no power benefit over cutting open the front lid,
Which you already have.
which I came with the car.
Yeah.
So I need to make that better though, because it doesn't quite seal up right. So I don't know if I need to get just like a better filter. Because right now I literally have just duct tape over it. Because I didn't want I wanted filtered air coming through. I didn't, I was like, So
Did somebody just do where did it not seal?
Between that lid and the plastic beneath it. It's all, my guess is that the plastic has just warped a bit because it's just a tiny gap, and maybe it's not that big of a deal. I don't know, but I saw it and I was like, well, I'm
not gonna take any chances.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna. I'm gonna throw tape on it for now, and I'll deal with it later. And it wasn't like it was Gorilla Tape, and I used several pieces, so that way when and make the problem really bad.
Right. Well, so does your car have a mass airflow sensor?
No.
No, it's just map sensor only.
Yep.
Okay. I was gonna say if it was like my car, the mass airflow sensor has a screen on it, so
right,
it would get through.
Which is interesting because they had the mass airflow sensor for the L98s. Then they went to the map only for 92 and 93, and then in 94 they went back to the map sensor. And they may have had a map sensor as well.
Sure.
Then, but they went back to a map sensor. So I'm doing the headers. Plans right now were to kind of put the headers on, get something figured out for the exhaust, take it back to the dyno, see if there's any power gains at all. I would expect if you had a MAF car, you'd potentially could see some power gains, or even see more power gains than what a MAP car would.
Right.
Is kind of what I'm expecting. So I'm not even sure. I'm sure there'll be something. I just don't know to what degree exactly. But then after doing that, sometime later on in the season, potentially look at doing some tuning.
Sure.
Came across someone that does email tuning, and they've been doing it for a long time, and
pretty reasonably.
Yeah, and since I'm not getting too crazy with modifications and stuff, seems like it'd be a pretty safe route to go.
Yep.
So that's the power modifications, and then for suspension, I've got After Dark Speed. I mess up their name a lot of the time.
How?
Because I can't remember. I think like After Dark Horse or something is what for whatever reason I always think of. I don't know.
No, it's After Dark Speed.
Yep. I got their Viking front and rear coilover kits.
Nice.
The Crusader.
Yep.
Double adjustable.
Sure.
Is that the one that you can tear apart yourself, or they say you can tear apart yourself?
Yeah, they're serviceable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I got those, and on not Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving,
Black Friday.
Yes, I got a call because I ordered them Wednesday when their Black Friday sale started.
Oh, sure.
And I got a call from Ryan, who I believe is the owner of After Dark Speed. And yes, Crusader is what it is. And he called me to tell me that it might take more time to get them because no one has ever ordered the Crusader double adjustable. So he never keeps them in stock. He says whenever anyone orders a Crusader, they order the triple adjustable.
Oh, okay.
Which I get because a lot of people end up building cam cars. And if you're going to build a cam car, you might as well get all the adjustability. But there are some...
Does your class limit to 2 adjustments?
SCCA doesn't, but some of the other classes that I'm looking at, like in Grid Life, the class for that, the way the rules currently are written, you can have a double adjustable shock, but the knob has to be removed from one adjuster.
So wouldn't the same apply for triple adjustable?
No, you can't have triple adjustable.
Okay.
Because you can control more with triple adjustable. Because the idea is you can still set it to a point where you want, but the idea is that you can't tinker with it throughout the day, is kind of the idea. But
All right.
from some of the comments I'd seen on Track Midwest, I think they're going to allow double adjustable shocks across the
both
board.
knobs.
Yes, which makes sense. I didn't really get the double adjustable and removing the knob
No.
because
You think
I
I
feel-
can't just pull a knob out of my pocket and turn it quick
Well-
and put it back in my pocket?
well, and I don't know, that may have been what people were doing, is they were taking one knob out, putting the other one back in, changing, taking the other,
Or if the
they're-
knobs just click in with like a detent, you just pull it off of one and stick it on the other.
Right.
Or if under the knob it has a slotted screwdriver hole.
Yep. So that's why I went with the double adjustable.
Sure.
I also I thought about triple adjustable, but I'm a little weary about giving myself too much adjustability. Because even with the double adjustable, more than likely what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Ryan's, we'll set it up on the shock dyno, and we'll get it set up into place, and it's probably going to stay there
Yeah.
for the most part.
Unless you get onto an extremely smooth or an extremely rough surface where
Right.
you think you can squeeze something out of it.
Right, but more than likely, I mean, because based on what has set up, it's kind of, here's the weight of your car, here's the spring rate of your car, your motion ratio, your spring rate of your tires. Yeah. This is what you want. So that's kind of where it'll stay. And we did the same thing with the 300 on the rear. We revalved it so it essentially matched the valving of the front coilovers at its midpoint. And I basically left them there. I maybe played with it, 1 or 2 clicks, the other way, and I think it had like 16 clicks in total. So it gives you, there's a little bit of adjustability, but the point of the double adjustability that should hopefully make it easier is the tuning side of it, because we won't have to tear it apart to tune it. We can just change the knobs to hopefully tune it.
Sure.
I did see a video servicing them, and it looks like they're also a lot easier to rebuild.
Sure.
The whole valving system is quite a bit different, and it's I believe they're. I will double check on that before I say anything. But that's what I've got in plan for suspension, and then just doing some brake upgrades, not bigger brakes or anything like that, but just getting
a performance pad.
Performance pad and stainless steel brake lines, and just kind of going through the brake system. One thing I've got to figure out is bleeding the system with its ABS.
I have a scan tool that does that.
Do you? Okay. And
as long as it's
I may have
with your car.
I may have one, and Dan.
Is your car OBD2?
No, it's not. It's OBD1.
You want to know what else you can do? You can just go on the gravel and stomp on the brakes a whole bunch of times. I've had to do that in the past.
Yeah.
It works. Yep.
Well, the other thought that Ryan and I had was just like, okay, you just don't let the system get
just don't run the
empty.
Just don't run it out.
Yeah. So, and it was kind of like, okay, so when I do the brakes, I'll have to do one side at a time. It'll be put the new line on, put the new brake on, and then, just not like I did with the 300 where it was just
take everything
drop
off.
everything and throw everything on, so you're kind of doing the same thing over and over, so that way you don't you just kind of get into a rhythm. But that's all I've got planned for now. It'll hopefully make the car faster.
What are you doing for tires? I know you're not going to run out of what you got left.
Yeah, I'm not going to run the Federals. That I'm still a little undecided on, because I'm not sure how well 315s will fit.
Definitely.
I know they'll fit, and I actually have spacers to make sure they fit already. Because I bought those because I wasn't quite sure. I did everything as far as the offset on a calculator online, so I had no idea for sure if it was going to work.
Right.
They are twin tube. They say it's gas charged, but I don't.
Well, are those Crusaders?
That's a good point.
Why don't you just go to the Viking website?
I thought it was. It was the ad.
You didn't even look.
Sorry, what were we saying?
Tires.
Tires. Oh, yes, tires.
Where the rubber meets the road.
Yes, where the rubber meets the road.
Quite literally.
I sent you that video, and I meant to actually.
Yep, I haven't watched it
I
yet.
meant to listen to it on the way down here, and I completely forgot to. It was a comparison of the Falcon RT660.
And the Nankings.
Yes, and the Nankings on a KMT car. So they were fairly wide and, a heavier car that would have, I feel like, been pretty representative.
Yeah, at least somewhat
Yeah.
relatable to your car.
Or at least given me an idea of what to expect from where between them. Although I'm not super, I don't think I'm going to necessarily do anything with Nanking. Like I'm not super interested in getting their tire just based on the reviews that I've seen, and
Yeah.
not that it's a bad tire or anything, just not. I don't think it's going to be what I want.
Sure.
They don't actually say if it's a twin tube or a mono tube.
Irrelevant.
Yep.
It doesn't matter.
Yep. Huh. Interesting. So the rebound curves can easily be changed.
Yeah.
The compression curves, they have to rebuild. So it's a twin tube, and the rebound isn't gas charged, but the compression is. And that would make sense with the video that I saw, because he changed rebound, and they talk about this. It's like jetting a carburetor, and it's very, very similar to that.
Well, it says compression forces can be changed by Viking or an authorized rebuild.
Yeah,
Define authorized.
true. That's a good point.
Did you take it apart and put it back together and it still works?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds authorized to me.
Yep. So, no, I'm looking at the Falcon RT660s. I was looking at the Bridgestones, but they got rid of the larger sizes. They may still have a.
Did they?
I thought they went up to like 315 originally when I
thought that was
first
something
came out.
that was like on a potential released sizes.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
I don't know
Yeah.
if
I guess that's
available.
probably what it was. And I think they went up to 295. And so if I stick with 295s, I can go up to 315s. But if I stick with 295s, I could see getting those. I was also tempted to try the Valino,
Yeah.
just because.
Are they really inexpensive?
No, they're the same price.
Oh.
What you're with this size, they're just
Try
about
to do
everything
something different.
Yeah, just okay. So they do have a 295.
Yep.
And they have a 35, which I think I would want the larger sidewall.
Maybe.
I mean, I have a 295/30 now, and it's not bad. I just don't. I feel like it's the Federals are really stretched on those wheels, and it's a 10.5-inch wheel, so it should fit 1095s. But maybe that's just because it's a 30 sidewall instead.
Yeah, I mean, it is a 10.5-inch wide wheel.
Right, I know.
That's not a skinny wheel by any stretch of the
I know.
imagination.
So I would probably say the Bridgestone or the Falcon is probably what I'm looking at. but we'll also see what is available when the time comes.
Right.
Because that may determine it.
Right, yeah. I mean, if you sandbag on buying tires, there might be something else that hits the market in the spring.
Right. There could be that. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to go with Federals again, though. I want to try, like you said, it just limits what you can buy, so you spend
those
more money
Maxxis Victras, they are like a
The
good
what?
drift tire, right? The Maxxis Victra.
Oh,
Aren't they
I
a 200
guess.
treadwear tire, but
They're-
aren't they like
they're a 200
power like an RS4 kind of thing?
they're an older 200 treadwear tire.
Are they?
They are an older one. I think they've updated the compound, but yeah, it's a pretty common drift tire, I guess, maybe.
Kind of like the Kenda Kaisers.
Yeah.
I know that those are
Yeah,
super
something like
popular
that, I
in the
think. But I mean, to give you an idea, I'm pretty
world.
sure that's what Chris Forsberg used to run on his 350Z drift
Sure.
car, which is a long time ago.
Is that true? Is there people out there still
Buying them?
rating the BFG Rivals S1.5s as like the fastest tire?
Yes. I mean, it's still. I mean, it's not.
I mean,
I wouldn't say it's
know
the
that
fastest tire, but it's still fairly
I
competitive.
know that it hadn't like completely fallen to the wayside. But I
Right.
didn't
Well, they
realize
also have what is it, a 335 size?
big boss sizes. Yeah, I just didn't realize that
Yeah, they
were
have a
still,
335.
considered to be among the absolute top tier.
I don't think I'd consider them among the top tier. From what
Well,
I've
that's why I asked, is that actually true? Because
from what I've seen, but I like not that far behind, but if I was going to place bets on someone, it wouldn't be someone with that tire, more than likely. Unless they were
What was the tire you were saying you wanted to try?
the Valino. I can't remember what it's called. V720.
Not the Pergea.
No, that's their like drift tire. It's like
it is
the
that
V.
same company though.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That is like their drift tire, though. Ooh, I could get Nexans.
What tire is that? A Sport R?
Yeah, that's their new one.
Hmm.
They came out with like towards the end of last year or this year.
And that is a 200 treadwear tire?
Yep. And it goes up to 315 even.
Big chunky ones.
So I haven't put a ton of time looking into tires because
I'm going to be running old slow tires.
yeah,
'Cause
anything's gonna be better than what I have been running.
Because I still have those RE71Rs.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Sticker tires sitting in the corner, just waiting for me to put something together. Which I have a short block now, so that's a plus.
Yeah.
Mm. So just gotta slam in some lifters and push rods and put the heads on, and intake manifold, exhaust manifolds. So
And put it in the car.
then put it in the car.
And then put the transmission in the car.
The transmission in the car. That's gonna actually be the hard part because I have to fabricate a new plate to go on top of the tunnel for the shifter.
Oh.
It's either that or
Yeah,
I
because
need to try and find.
is that Doug Nash like a old style? Well, I guess you had a Muncie,
Yeah.
didn't you? Which is off to the side. It's
Yep.
not centered.
Yep. So
I wonder if you could get like a center count. Well, that wouldn't work.
there are places I need to just start looking around online and try and find places that sell like complete kits, because if you buy a complete FZ6 swap kit from these people, they send you that cutout piece from a totaled car.
Oh.
So I just need to contact somebody somewhere
And
that has
see.
a totaled one and
Yeah.
just cut the floor piece out and then basically make it slightly oversized and then just rivet it in
Yeah.
with some seam sealer around it.
Not welded in.
Weld fiberglass? The tunnel's fiberglass.
Oh, is it really? Oh, I didn't know the tunnel was fiberglass.
Yeah, otherwise I...
Tells me what I know.
Yeah,
You know?
so I either have to do that or I just, like, hand form my own sheet steel one
Right.
and just rivet it in. So, we'll see when I get there.
You might be able to find like a
First
print.
thing is, I need to find out how hacked up my tunnel is to put that Muncie in there. Because it's not the original shifter box.
Ooh.
And if it was done the same way as they did the rest of the car, it's going to be sketchy.
This is why my car felt
Like,
so floppy.
the shift rods, someone clearly cut them off and put them together with a stick
That's
welder.
right. That's right.
And not somebody skilled with a stick welder either.
Yeah.
It's pretty sketchy. And one of them was like they just shortened it. The other one was like they needed it longer, and they took a piece of ready rod and on the end because the threaded part was like this long.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I know why you get that hot roddy feeling from yours.
Oh yeah, it was like the shifter felt like an actual gated shifter. Like you couldn't just like huck it forwards to get into third.
Right.
You had to physically
Chuck
chuck it
it
over into third gear. That's why if you ever, I don't know if we even have any videos of me racing that thing, but the gear shifts are like bop, bop.
Right, right.
Seriously, dramatically long gear shifts. So you have all this suspension stuff coming.
Yep.
You bought your power mods. I bought my power mods, which are going in my engine.
Yeah. Wait. Which is just stock stuff, right? Or did you actually get? Oh.
I went from dish pistons to flat tops,
Oh,
and
okay.
it's 30 over for what that's worth.
Okay.
5 cubic inches.
Yeah.
And
355, motherfucker.
I called Comp Cams and had them recommend me the largest camshaft that they could recommend without ECU tuning.
Okay.
So I got that. So,
Have you had that for a while? Or
well, it's in the engine.
oh, okay. I can't remember if you said something
Yep.
to us before. Okay.
I'm pretty sure I did.
Okay.
Yeah, you've just forgotten.
Yeah, I did.
So it's not a huge or aggressive camshaft by any stretch of the imagination, but for what it's worth, the cam that was in there,
A truck cam.
if I know how to run a micrometer at all, and I'm pretty sure I do, I couldn't measure duration because I took it apart before I thought about it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I could have measured duration before I took it apart. But as far as lift goes, the raw lift of the camshaft that was in there was less than a stock camshaft.
Right.
So unless it had really long duration or something, which it didn't look like it because it was pointy like this, it wasn't real round.
Yeah.
This camshaft should make a pretty substantial difference compared to what was in there.
Probably had a truck cam in there. It's probably an old truck engine that's
Had
been
an RV
swapped
cam.
in.
No, I don't think so. It had enough telltale signs that it.
I know when we
I'm
took
pretty sure it's a
when we
Corvette
rebuilt.
engine. I'm pretty sure it's the one that belongs in there.
Okay. When we rebuilt Dan's engine,
Mhm.
we like looked up the casting numbers and everything, and it was some old like '74 truck 350 that
Yeah.
had been thrown in there.
Which.
Oh yeah, no,
Who
but
cares?
it was like okay, the cam was nothing,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. As far as camshaft, valve train heads, that's the important part. Otherwise, the rotating assembly in the block's pretty much the
Right,
same.
right,
Yeah.
right, and that's basically what he did. He got the aluminum heads, and then I got him that Melling
Yeah.
camshaft. Nothing aggressive by any means, but more than stock, and
Right.
certainly more than what that camshaft was.
Yep. So I got my power mods for the season, and
For the Corvette.
yep. I guess I need to get some bushings and some shocks.
Yeah,
At the
I might
very
be able to
least,
sell you some shocks. Oh no, I won't be able to. You got that old.
yeah, not the same.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say shocks. If I'm gonna do any, like, for sure I'm going to do bushings. If I'm going to do shocks, I'm going to do coilovers. I'm not going to, because I'm also,
because it's like
I'm also
it's
not going to
$800
put
to
another
do shocks.
cheap set of shocks in it. If I buy
Right.
shocks, I'm going to buy Bilsteins, and if I'm going to buy Bilsteins,
it's $800 for the car.
I'll just pay the extra $1,000 and get my coilover kit.
Yeah, which are the shocks actually different between ours?
I have no idea.
I'd have to look at that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if not, I know someone who might have some Bilsteins on the market for you here in a little bit.
I mean, unless you're willing to just let me borrow them until I don't need them anymore, and then you can sell them. Yeah, they're different.
Okay.
84 must be a goober year. They're listed as 84 to 87 and 89 to 96.
Yep. Okay, that makes sense. Based on the other
88
things that I've
is a
seen.
goober year, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because even After Speed Dark, I think they have After Dark Speed. Oh no, they have
After Speed Dark is what happens when you do the wrong drugs and then you black out.
Okay, hold on. Let me. Yeah. So the front coilover kit, they have an 88 for the front.
It's separate by itself, huh?
But the rear goes with
the same as
the
later cars. Interesting.
Indeed.
So they must have changed the rear suspension
In 88.
or they changed the. Oh, how strange! I'm just trying to relate it to something else they changed because the body changed in 91.
Right. No, they changed.
Right?
Yes, and they changed the suspension in 88 for like the GT class racing series. They basically revamped it.
But I was going to say they also
better.
changed the transmission in 89.
That's when they went to the ZF.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you could get a
6-speed.
ZF behind a TPI engine.
Yeah. Well, you could. Yeah, 89 and 90.
Yep.
And 91. 91 is
91 was a
is
TPI?
it L98?
Oh, okay. I thought that was the first year for the LT1.
No, 92 is. So that's the update on the Corvettes.
Yeah.
Oh, one other thing I do have to look at is when I had the car on the dyno, my one rear wheel was doing this. Kind of. And to be honest, I'm not 100% sure there's anything wrong because the car was kind of bouncing, like it was almost like it hit a natural frequency point or something like that.
Yeah.
So the suspension was bouncing. So I don't know if that's what was making it.
Bent hub.
Could. Yeah, I mean.
Or it could even actually be a bent axle.
But when he got onto it and went through the run, you couldn't see it. Like it was really obvious when it was slow, and then you couldn't see it when it was loaded, when everything was loaded up. The suspension was loaded up. So you're right, it could be.
You want to know you actually should check? Is the U-joints in the half shafts.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of my plan, was because I thought, okay, well maybe there's an arm back there that's loose or something. Mm-hmm. That's all. That's what it could be, because that would make sense too. You finally get it loaded up. Well, now it can't bounce back and forth and cause that issue.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what that was, but I need to take a look at that before. Which, you know what I did find the other day? I found carbon fiber half shafts for a C4.
I bet they're cheap.
$2,300. I think it was the drive
shaft.
The pair? It was the drive shaft and the half shafts.
Oh.
I think. Might be just the half shafts, but yes, it was the pair.
I mean, if it was just for the two drive shafts, for the axles.
Yep.
Whatever you want to call them, half shafts.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, okay, all right.
Well,
but it's not
immediately
that
went through what my head was, is this allowed for STU?
But then if it also includes the prop shaft, that's pretty reasonable.
Right.
Because I'm thinking that would be a huge amount of rotating mass.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why I was like, is this allowed for STU? Because if that's allowed for STU,
See, what you do is you buy those carbon fiber axles and then you just wrap it in aluminum foil.
There you go. You wouldn't even need to do that. You could just wrap it in a vinyl.
If you just spray painted it silver, no one would probably look.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, sometimes you can see carbon fiber through paint if it's not thick enough.
Oh, that's true.
I think you'd be better off just wrapping it.
Yeah. Or maybe just find out if there's any rules against it.
Right. Well, no, that's
The sucky thing about SCCA rules is it's more or less, if it doesn't say you can, you can't.
right. Well, that's when, if you're not sure, you just wrap it anyways, and then you'd be done with it.
Mm-hmm.
And no one's the wiser.
Who's trying to hide those? No, I just wanted it to look nice.
Right.
I hate
And I'm
carbon
sure they
fiber.
got, big, nice, like, stainless steel ends, so they look,
Yeah.
paint those brown. Like,
Just gotta leave them sit outside behind your house for like 3 months before you put them in.
right. I'm sure that's good for the carbon fiber.
It's not that big of a deal. Resin isn't UV problematic at all.
So yeah, that's the Corvette updates.
Yeah. No updates on the truck. Life's been too wild for that junk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured the update was going to be, well, decided to do something different.
No, I'm not gonna do.
You're still going to do the
different.
rover swap.
Yep. Actually, there is an update. Frankie is gonna help me build a set of headers.
Oh,
So I know we've talked about it in the past. I was gonna just modify a set of factory tube headers off of a Range Rover, but that was gonna be way too much of a pain in the rear end, and they're not symmetrical. Like my truck frame is symmetrical, the engine's symmetrical. Apparently, Land Rovers are not symmetrical because one of
they're
them
not. They
comes
drive on the wrong
down
side of the road.
like right. One side, the driver's side, comes down basically like a short tube header right beside the block. The other one comes out and like straight back, and then has a collector with a 90-degree and like 8 inches of straight pipe. So
Good enough is what they
Yeah.
said.
So it's pretty wild. But Frankie's been, I won't say too much because it's his jam, but he's been working on some development tools for building exhaust components.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And he's working on potentially getting a set of mock-up collectors made
Oh,
so that
okay.
we can start doing some mock-up stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, so I would guess sometime in the next
'Cause that's kind
month
of-
or two here, I'm going to be ordering a set of header flanges.
Okay.
So we can start doing mock-up on headers.
And you can get header flanges for that?
Yep.
Okay. Because I thought I remember you having a little bit of an issue with that.
Well,
talked
the
to one
issue
guy-
was that I wanted to do stainless, but
Right.
the cost of stainless is so obscene right now.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do mild.
Oh, okay.
I'd rather do mild and be able to get the truck on the road.
Well, and with, for all you know, you may have to cut it up a bunch of times.
Right.
You might as well not spend a ton of money on stainless till
Right.
you get the
And the other thing
pattern
was,
figured out. And
the
then-
other thing is if I ever decide to do something different, like if I decide I want more naturally aspirated power, I'm going with a set of aftermarket heads, which do not share the same manifold pattern on the exhaust
okay.
side, so I'd have to build new headers,
Headers
anyways. Or if I decide that I just want to turbocharge it, I have to build new headers anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's no point in, and it's
Spending.
never going to be out in the winter. So
Right.
it's not like I have to worry about them rusting to pieces right away.
Right. Right.
You know. So if I wanted some kind of protection on them, I could have them ceramic coated for still less money than what it would cost to
Yep.
make stainless ones.
Yep.
So yeah.
Because that's kind of one of the big things keeping you from getting it done. I mean, time is obviously probably the biggest one.
Yeah.
But it's that in the ECU.
I'm not afraid
Which-
of the ECU and the
Which,
wiring.
as I say,
but
the ECU is not even as big as it is the headers because you really can't. The car or the engine's in the car.
Yep.
It's just
Yeah. The thing that it's at, like, time holds me back from taking care of the wiring and getting everything else mocked up. But knowing that headers is basically the most important thing, right now that it needs to be able to start buttoning things up around it. And them being the most cost prohibitive part of the whole process. I don't. My time goes elsewhere because I have things that other things that I need that I don't have for it.
Yeah. Excuses.
And besides, there's also a pecking order of other important things in life, such as property maintenance and getting things cleaned up around here before snow actually flies.
Yeah. Excuses.
So, to be able to make room in other places, I actually need to get the Corvette done and mobile.
Right.
To get things out of my shop, to make room in there for other things that need to come in there.
Yeah, because it's just sitting in your shop right now, isn't it? The Corvette.
No, the Corvette.
Oh, the Corvette is over here? Okay.
Yeah, my truck is in the shop, though. And that's probably going to be coming out for a while.
All winter?
Until I have, what do I do with my time? Then I'll bring it back in.
Yeah.
No, it's one of those things where the type of attention that it needs is not 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there kind of attention.
Right. No, I know.
It needs to have a weekend set aside.
Still.
At which point I can drag it out and bring it in the shop.
You'd be surprised what you can do in an hour.
Time. I know, but
it adds up quick. I mean, I know that's what I did with the 300 when I was doing the ECU and getting that all figured out. I spent an hour, not even necessarily like a solid hour.
That's also a completely different jam than building a harness.
No. I know. That is true. But there was a bunch of other things that I had to do. I mean, and I just it was literally almost an hour each day.
Yep.
And it was one of those things that was like, I'd tell myself, I can do this like this weekend. It was like, well, I might as well just go and do it now. And I'd spend, an hour. And then the weekend would come and I'd work on it for, the 4 hours I had or, 6 hours I had. And then you realize that 6 hours is like, oh my gosh, I never would have gotten to this point.
Had you not
put those you just think earlier in the week you were thinking, I can do all this, and then it takes you that much longer to get there than you thought, and it's like, oh shit, I'm glad I even though it was really maybe only a half hour or even 15 minutes sometimes of actually getting something done. I mean, you might have been tinkering with some fitment issue or something like that for 45 minutes, but that's the things that really kill your time.
It is for sure.
So just
saying.
So I want to get my car off the ground. I've got a bunch of shit in the garage that for putting a room together in our house, and so once that gets out of there, then I want to get the car off the ground, and I want to get the wheels off, and I want to start taking stuff apart just so that way I want to figure out what's going on in the rear, because I'd like to figure that out now before I spend too much of my budget. And then can't do whatever I need to do, whether it's half shafts or, which that is just probably the U-joint more than anything. Unless something's really messed up with it, which I don't think it
when
could.
When those bend, they turn into a pretzel.
Well, and I can't. I don't know how a stock powered Corvette would bend one of those.
I don't think so.
Especially one that's been driven the way mine.
But a car that's 30 years old could absolutely have some U-joints that are just getting stiff.
Oh yeah, yep. No, I don't doubt it. And one of the things the reason they were like, oh my gosh, is the wheel bearing bad or something like that? We actually ended up jacking the car up,
giving it a quick shakedown.
Well, and they, nope, it's fine. And I told them, I was like, I had some loose lugs, like that. I've had issues with lugs. And the one guy, he actually used to work for like a spec Miata shop.
Sure.
And he's like, whenever we bought new wheels, we just took an impact and went back and forth 20 times on new wheels.
Oh, sure.
Because just to scrape that powder coat off in there. And he goes, that's probably all it was. But we checked, we torqued them again just to make sure. and they thought it was a wheel bearing. And if you watch the video, and maybe I'll play a clip here, but the sound that it was making when it was on the dyno, how loud it was. And they're like, oh, I think that's a wheel bearing. I kept telling them, nope, it's just the tires.
Oh,
The
because
tires, the
because
tires
the
are
federals on
notorious for
Yeah.
being insanely loud
Insanely
on dynos
loud.
because they've got this crazy, most dynos have a crazy crosshatch pen, so
Yep.
it's meant to just bite into whatever it has.
Yeah.
So they just make
So a tire that's
racket
loud on the street is going to be even louder. on the
Right. They
dyno.
just I remember watching one video of some Subaru on a dyno. You can't hardly hear the engine because all you hear is these four wheels going. Woo! Yeah, So I don't think it's a bearing issue or anything like that, but I need to tear into it and see what's going on. And
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if it was a bearing issue or something that the wheel was wobbling, it would have gotten noticed at one of the autocrosses.
Probably.
It's just
I mean,
something.
I noticed your wheel wobbling in the parking lot.
Yeah, I know.
That's just about to
That's
fall
true.
off.
Yeah, that was bad.
Actually, I didn't notice it wobbling, but I did hear
just
it making
noise.
funky noises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just need to look at that, but I'm ready to get started on it, especially now that I've got half day Fridays.
Heck yeah.
No wife, no kid at home. Should make
Do
it
work.
should make it a lot easier to get stuff done.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll see. I still don't have a heated garage, so there's always that.
There is that. Is it insulated?
It is insulated. The roof's not insulated, but the walls are insulated.
It has a ceiling, though.
Kinda.
It wouldn't
It's-
cost you that much to
it's-
just buy some plywood and put a ceiling in.
It's got plywood. Yes, I could. You're right. I definitely could, and then just throw insulation up there.
Even if you hired somebody to do blowing up there, wouldn't cost you hardly anything.
It's not. Yeah, it's not quite. It's like sheets of plywood loosely put up there between the beams.
Oh,
There's gaps. Like you'd still have to do quite a bit of.
screwed on from the bottom or just set on the top?
I'm just set on the top.
Oh, well, fish that junk out of there and screw it on the bottom. Then buy a couple more sheets and fill in the gaps and
That's probably what I
just
should
hire
do.
somebody for like $500 to blow in the ceiling.
That's probably what I should do.
Even if
But
you
my
end up selling
propane heater does a pretty good job of
yeah,
heating it up. I mean, even when it's pretty cold, it'll get 80 degrees out there, so you're able to turn off the thing for a while.
yeah.
I mean, I bought a bigger heater because I just wanted something that would. I did. I bought one that was way bigger than I needed
Yeah.
because I just wanted it to saturate. I wanted to get it up to 80 degrees in there because then you can sit out there in your sweatshirt for a couple hours before you have to turn it back on because
Sure.
it's not the quietest thing.
Right.
But it also does a pretty good job of heating it up quick, which is nice. You can
Yeah.
turn it on in 15 minutes out later. You out there and
Right.
it's pretty warm.
Yeah.
So excited to get that going. Coilovers, not so worried about doing. Headers, a lot more worried about.
I know a guy that has a lift in a heated shop.
Well, I know. I talked to my dad already too about using his lift.
He doesn't have a heated shop.
He doesn't have a heated shop. He's got a big heater though.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Either way,
yes,
you'll either have to wait until last minute in the spring after the roads are clean, or you'll have to get a enclosed trailer to trailer it up here.
Right.
Yeah.
Or even plan it out so it's a warm enough weekend so when I get home I can wash it off and then park it.
Less
But yeah,
than ideal.
well, and so the only problem with that is spring is going to be pretty busy for me because that's number
because
two's
reasons.
number two's due date. So I wanted. That's kind of what pushed me because I was on the fence too, looking at my budget and everything. Is like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe I should do coilovers or, should I do headers and.
The answer is both.
Yeah, and then I decided I better do both because I'm not gonna have time. I don't know if I'm gonna have time next winter. Like I don't know what's gonna be there. So it's
Yep.
like I have time this winter. I'm gonna do it, get it done, and just be able to enjoy the car after that.
Yep.
Which is what I said about the car I was gonna buy. Is I was just gonna enjoy it. I wasn't gonna do anything to it right away. Which I didn't do anything big to it right away. I just bought wheels right away.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah.
It's like a 15-minute jam.
Yeah. Well, and my justification was, well, if I don't throw them on this car. If I don't like this car, I'm going to sell it. And I'm going to make sure I get a C5. And these wheels were meant for a C5, yeah. So I was like, I'll keep them anyways.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. So, any kind of new automotive news or anything exciting that way that you know of? I know we've talked about NASCAR a few times the last few podcasts. Did you see that thing that Ross Chastain did?
Yes, everyone saw. Everyone saw the video game move. Yes.
Did you see? So in his interview, his post-race interview, he talked about playing NASCAR 2005.
Yeah.
Did you see somebody edited the NASCAR 2005 GameCube cover?
No. No, I did not. I thought you were about to say like someone edited the. Do you remember like EA Sports? It's in the game. I thought you meant someone like edited it to say EA Sports. It's in the wall.
Oh no! Come on, do the thing. Yeah, somebody. Oh, right there. They took the GameCube game cover.
Oh, okay. So it's just him. I thought it was
edited him onto the cover.
Chase for the cup.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just holding a GameCube.
Oh.
And how has he done since then?
How did he finish in the?
Is that done?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's way done.
We know a lot about motoring news.
I should know because I.
So he didn't make it into the Final Four.
Yeah, he did.
What?
He got into the Final Four with that move.
His name wasn't on there.
No, that was Xfinity.
Oh.
Yeah. I know that he made it in.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And then I don't remember how the race finished though.
Just like.
This is too hard.
Oh, I think I do remember seeing that Joey Logano win.
Yeah, I knew Joey Logano won.
NASCAR Cup Series Championship. Oh, go back up. Yeah, so he won the Cup Championship as well.
Yep. Which, the way they...
Yeah, I know, it's a whole different point system, isn't it?
No, it's just overall kind of screwy.
Jesus.
No kidding. Thinking ads. You get into the Final Four.
Yep.
And then no matter who has the most points at the end of the race,
whoever finishes
the highest. You don't even have to win the race. So if
right. Well, it's basically a race between those four, and everyone else is just in the way.
Yep. Exactly.
And you have teammates out there, don't you?
Yeah. And they can choose to help you or be in the way.
Why wouldn't they help you?
Huh?
Why wouldn't they help you?
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Because...
I mean, unless maybe you're in first because there's prize money and stuff like that.
Well, yes. There's always that thing about everybody out there legitimately wants to win, but then there's also situations where your teammate
screwed you over.
The owners championship is still based on overall season points. So if your teammate is racing for a position in owners championship, he may not give you a spot if he needs those points.
Right. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll say if he had enough teammates out there like, oh my gosh, the other 3 guys are out. What do we do? I guess I'm gonna win.
Right?
Assuming he doesn't get retaliated against by his other.
Yeah. Which is super plausible.
Mm-hmm.
What else? What do we normally talk about? We talked about tires. We talked about NASCAR. I thought there was something else neat that I'd seen recently. I wanted to talk about.
Buy a new Supra, I guess. Now that they're coming out with manuals,
Yay!
they're faster and they look better than the Z's. So I don't know.
They also cost a lot more money too, don't they?
Yeah, they do quite. Actually, I don't know because everything's so marked up.
Oh,
I'm not sure that they do.
sure.
I mean, they were kind of sought after in the beginning, but I think there's enough competition out there where Z's are coming on the market, and you have the people that collect Z's that want to get them.
Yeah.
So I know I've seen some of those marked up quite a bit, but you also never know if those even sell. I mean, it's as much as I like them, they're not the same as the C8 Corvette. As far as like why the C8 Corvette has been able to build up such a demand.
Oh yeah, I mean
it just doesn't have quite the following, and it's also not as.
I mean, it has the following, but the people following it don't have the money. Don't have the same kind of money.
Then it's not the same following. Is the point?
It's got the same quantity of followers,
just not the quality.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Yes.
Bashing my own people over here.
Yeah, because you're not particularly C8 quality, are you?
No.
Tell you what, though, we actually looked at a fully optioned out C8 up at Road America just for funsies. Talked to the salesperson for a little while.
Yeah.
Like when you get up real close to him, compared to all other Corvettes, this is like the first time that I feel like Chevy actually made a serious effort on the interior. Like it's I don't think that it's the same as like a Lamborghini, Ferrari, Mercedes, BMW interior, but I think that it's a lot closer than a C7, C6, C5, or definitely
so I know
C4.
Whoa. Whoa, let's back off there for a second.
C4.
My C4 interior is pretty good. Dude, it's all.
No, I understand what you're saying, but
I bet it's no different.
The late C4 actually is leaps and bounds better interior-wise than an early.
And I bet it's probably not that much different than 90s Ferraris and Lamborghinis.
I bet it is. I bet it's not all blow-molded plastic in those.
Oh yeah, you're probably right. I don't know. Yeah, you're probably right.
But when I sit down in my C4, what I think is, aside from the
and it wouldn't be blow molded, it'd be injection
molded, same thing. Different. It's different. I know.
It is different. That's why I had to say it.
But when I sit down in my C4, what I think is, other than the really sweet digital 80s dash, they were like, how can we make a truck fit inside this Corvette?
Yeah. Yes.
It's way too
similar. It does not feel that way in the...
Except the mirror. The rearview mirror is the exact same thing that goes in the Silverado.
Yep. Nope, I would agree
and
with
the
that.
radio.
And the radio, the radio dials
the
are the exact
control.
same. They are the exact same dials that was in my brother's like 93 work truck.
Yeah.
And I mean work truck. 2-wheel drive,
Crank windows, no AC.
Yep. No AC, and it had a 5-speed.
Plastic floor.
Yep, not even. It was just vinyl.
Yeah.
Vinyl, no, that didn't have vinyl seats. It had cloth seats.
Yeah.
I think vinyl was extra.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. So the C4 or the C5, it looks like, I mean it's identical to truck as far as radio. I mean, it's the exact same thing.
Yep.
There's not just pieces. It is identical.
Yeah. My dad's C6 is the same way. The radio, it's like, oh, well, that's the same thing as what's in my 2005 Silverado.
Okay.
And so is the mirror.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. It's the rear mirror is the exact same.
But the C7s, I know people commented about how much better the interior was in the C7s.
Sure.
But I haven't sat in a C7 to really know.
Yeah. I've been about as close to a C7 as I have to a C8.
Okay.
You can't sit in it, but you can poke your head in the window.
You probably could sit in a C8.
Huh?
You probably could sit in a C8.
Oh, yeah. I absolutely could if I
you
went
came
to
to
a
Madison,
dealer.
you could.
If I went to a dealer.
No, if you came to an autocross,
Oh,
you
yeah.
could.
Well, for sure.
I'm sure like they would.
But even if I just went to a dealer.
Actually, I'm sure if you went down to my neighbor, they'd let you sit in theirs.
Yep, probably. But as far as like being at a Chevy booth at a road race.
That's the fun thing about going to like the Chicago Auto Show and stuff, is because the cars are there for people to climb in, and if they're not, like, they're up on a podium where no one can like even get close to them. Otherwise, someone's going to try and sit in them.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. So no other new models or anything wild and crazy and neat come out lately?
I'm trying to think of any new models.
Really
I know they talked about the GR86. They're doing a turbo model for some like racing series, but it's the 3-cylinder turbo that they're putting in the Corolla.
Oh, really?
GRs or whatever. Yeah. If you care about either of those things.
Yeah. Another thing that I know we're also relatively indifferent to is hybrids, but Hyundai came out with that new thing that looks like a DeLorean.
That's a concept car, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care about concept cars because they never come true.
I'll tell you what, though.
You know what?
If they came out with that car and it was an electric car, that would be the first one that I'd be like, you know what? Let me check that out because that thing looks super sick.
Did you ever see?
It's
I can't
so
remember
80s,
what episode.
It's unbelievable.
What episode of what it was of Top Gear, but they showed Cadillac concept, and it was just this great big long convertible, and huge wheels, but just sleek as hell, beautiful looking, and it was a shame because you're like, yeah, they're never gonna make it, and of course they never did.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like concepts. Because,
no, I know.
Because there's some concepts it's like, oh yeah, they're just doing something crazy, whatever. But then there's other concepts where it's like there was I can't remember when I went to the Chicago Auto Shows before they had the LFA.
Yep.
They had some concept car there, or maybe it was right after they came out with the LFA. It was a Toyota concept car, and everyone was calling it like the next Supra. And it like if you go, I can't remember what it was called, like I want to say like FT86 or something. That's not right though. And if you actually look at the current Supra, you can see some of the inspiration from it. But the car itself kind of looked so wild. It was like, it looked more like a supercar. So Toyota wasn't gonna, it wasn't gonna be Toyota that was selling it, and it wasn't gonna be Lexus because Lexus already had the LFA.
Right.
So you knew, like, you just knew it wasn't gonna happen. Yeah. Then you had. Then you have stuff like this Cadillac, and it's like, yeah, that's what you should do because old people are buying that. You know what I mean? Like that's the market you're trying to hit.
And don't tell me that it's going to be too much money. You ever priced out like an Escalade?
Right. Yeah. The Cadillac Escalade.
Too much
the Cadillac
money.
Escalade V. $110,000 in their ad.
I think that's right.
Yes, it is. $110,000, and then in their ad they said the most expensive GM car ever made. That was in the ad for it.
I'm pretty sure there are a lot more than that.
Oh wait, if you just scroll down, I think maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, 150,000.
150, not 110.
Okay, my bad. But more importantly is the point that they said the most expensive car GM has ever made.
Yeah.
Not our Corvette. No. It's our Escalade.
Which has a Corvette engine. More or less.
Yeah.
And then some, because Corvettes don't come with superchargers. Unless it's a ZR1.
You're right. Because they got the Z06 coming up. That's naturally aspirated
It's supposed to be.
still.
Yeah.
What are they gonna
But
do?
that's supposed to be like a flat plane.
Yeah,
rig.
flat plane V8. It's supposed to be pretty wild, but
Yep.
we'll see.
High rev, small displacement, I think.
It's not that small displacement. It's smaller. It's like 5.5.
Yeah. Which is really small for a Corvette. When was the last time they had anything less? I mean, well, yeah, it's the smallest engine to go in a Corvette since, like,
The original with the inline six.
yeah. It's really small.
Yeah. No, it's. I'm not saying it's not small for a Corvette, but it's not.
It's
not
not small
it's
like
not
a 4-liter like
it's
you
not like
find in
yes,
something
yes,
European.
Yes. That was my point.
Yeah. Oh, something else that we talk briefly about every once in a while. Cleach McFarland stuff. Have you seen the truck they're giving away?
Nope.
I think it's like a 2019 F-150.
Okay.
Regular cab, short box, 2-wheel drive, 5-liter, 10-speed.
Okay.
And it's got a Whipple supercharger on it.
Okay. So it's like a new Ford Lightning.
Basically. It's an aftermarket supercharger.
Yeah,
You
no.
somebody
I know.
built the
I know.
truck but they knew that it was pretty fast, and they threw it on the dyno this is their giveaway truck that they're doing. This is their, like, this month's giveaway, so you buy merch on the website.
Yeah.
But,
Bastard.
so, since it's a giveaway truck, they want to slow it down a little bit so whoever buys it doesn't die.
Oh,
Doesn't kill themselves.
right.
So they bought a bigger pulley for the supercharger, and it's still really quite quick. It made 762 horsepower with the small pulley. So they put the big pulley back on just to see what it made, and it made 864.
Oh! What?
Yeah. So it's almost 900 horsepower, and it's a completely stock engine. The only thing that's done internally to the engine is oil pump drive gear upgrade. I guess apparently that's a weak spot, but it's stock cams, stock heads, stock exhaust manifold.
Here's this truck you just won. It's gonna blow up.
No, they.
I know. Engines are a lot more
Yeah.
stable now to things like that.
That truck, by
They've ever been.
the guy that built it, he's had it together for years, a couple of years.
Oh, okay.
And the Cletus McFarland crew is really good at thrashing stuff.
Yeah.
So anything they have for their giveaway, they thrash it as much as they possibly can.
Good. So
to make
it's nice
content.
and beat up before.
Yeah. Well, they already broke the transmission,
Oh, okay.
so they put a brand new, fully built transmission
in it.
Which it had a built transmission in it before, but it's got a built-er transmission in it now.
Built-er transmission.
Yeah. But they're going to race it against his Pro-Charged C7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they've got a roll race event scheduled for next week.
Okay.
They're going to roll race the truck against the C7.
Nice.
The C7 only makes 100 horsepower more, and it makes like 60 pound-feet less torque.
That'll be interesting because
It
they
will
probably
be
weigh pretty
interesting.
close.
Yeah.
Since it's a short bed and single cab and all
Yep.
that stuff, and
And it's a 10-speed, which makes a huge difference because you keep it in that peak power range a lot more percentage
yeah,
of the time.
and if it's a built transmission, I'm
And
sure
it's
it
an
does a good
automatic
job.
versus the C7 being a manual. So,
Go C7.
yeah. Save the man yells.
Wait, what?
Oh.
Well, I think that I don't know what else to talk about. So
Yeah, I don't either.
So look for videos on updates on the PG C4 Polo Green.
Oh, PGC
The Polo Green crew. We got a whole Facebook group
Are we
and
going to
everything.
change our shirt colors now?
Yep, it's gonna be dark green. No,
Yeah.
so look
Hopefully
up.
get some content to do some more shorts.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I think we will. I mean, I want to do, maybe not quite shorts. We'll see how that goes. depending on time available to do modifications. But I'd like to do. There's no good in-depth videos that I've really seen for some of these C4 things, so I'd like to put together some more in-depth videos, particularly for the headers. Coilovers are a little bit more self-explanatory, and there's some videos out there showing it that kind of cover a lot of the important things you need to watch out for. But the headers, there's like nothing out there. So I kind of want to go over that, or I'd like to do a video for that. So look for that. But I guess until next time,
Keep the shiny side up.
or die trying.
Or die failing.
Yeah.